Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with some more World of Tanks. Today looking at a few replays. We're going to start things out with the Type 62 Premium Chinese Light Tank. And actually taking quite a liking to this bad boy. It makes me want to play a few more of the Chinese Lights. So I'll probably look into that sometime in the future. But this was, of course, donated to me by Mr. Suicide, so once again special thanks to him. I don't think I would have bought it had he not sent it my way. It was available for a limited time in the gift shop, and it's been pretty rare, so it's nice to have it. It's just kind of a cool looking tank, and it performs pretty well, as you might see here. We'll see how this goes, but right now you can see that we are in the center line of this map. Typical fight going on near the bay. We've got a 25-2 American tank destroyer hovering around here. I'm with this Panther, backing him up. There's that 25-2 spotted once again. It looks like he's falling back. Now, pay attention to the fact that we have got a lot of tank destroyers on the opposing force, which means most likely they're camping towards the north. That's generally where they like to hide out. We can see that there are a couple running through the bay area, the town over there, and they might be playing more of a CQB tank destroyer role. They've got an SU-122-44. We know that that's pretty much what they're good for. They're not fantastic at range. Jagdtiger sighted at the north, as well as an AMX AC-46. Taking a look at it, taking a shot there. Now, my goal here was to just sit at the center line, kind of passive scout. I decided to take that shot, and I generally will take shots or at targets of opportunity just to kind of mess with the enemy a little bit, keep them pinned down, or perhaps just to help assist my team. My idea here was to use my view range and coated optics to perhaps spot any flankers. Not a whole lot of action at the center currently. You can see they've got a Jagdtiger moving south, and they've got their other Jagdtiger, T-95, and a 25-2 up towards the northwest. It's a really tough position to get them out of. There's a lot of cover and kind of hilly terrain over there. But you can see we've also got a 25-2 on the flank, perhaps trying to get around some of our friendlies in the town there. So I decided to move in and assist. I don't want to just sit around and not help out. And there's kind of two ways that I like to play the scout. There's the passive scout, where you just get into a position, hide, get into some bushes, some trees, some camo, and not fire a shot as we take out this 25-2 there. Your idea there is that you're just trying to light targets, point them out, hit your spotting key and assist or request fire, so that your friendlies are also going to focus on that target, and perhaps you'll have some assist points, and you'll just in general be helping the team. Here I'm more so in a flanking engagement. We're playing like a light skirmisher more than a passive scout in this mode. We've got a Centurion 7-1 behind that building. Not sure what cannon he's got. We need to be careful, because if he's got the 105, we know that he can do quite a bit of damage to us. I've only got 880 hit points, and he would pretty much have us if we take one. The armor's not going to hold up. You'd have to get pretty lucky to survive a blast from most of the tanks in this matchup. I lost my Panther ally to the T-95. So I'm still assuming that maybe he just has a shot from that northern position. I'm worried about the Centurion. So now I'm just pinned here, hoping that I can maybe light him up, and then an ally will take him out. You can see that we're further pushing the fight in the bay as we just roll around here trying to spot targets. So if we bring up the map, we can see what we've got going on here. They're pushing Indian Panzer in the lead, E75, IS-8, AMX. We've got a Jagdtiger kind of rolling back to base, not sure what he was up to there. Already still in his position, AMX and Tiger. Centurion spotted on my center line. We've got a Jagdtiger requesting a fallback. Centurion goes down to the IS-8. I'm deciding to relocate, head into the town here by the bay, perhaps assist, flank, and or annoy the enemy. You can see that our friendlies are rolling in. Indian Panzer taking a hit. IS-8 destroying the Lurva. E-75 rolling up, deciding to just use my speed to perhaps get in on some flanking action. The gun on this bad boy is not bad. If you get to the flanks, you can pen pretty well. It's got a decent rate of fire. It's fairly accurate. Here's a Jagdtiger 88. We decide to throw some rounds into its side. There's a 110 behind that building. And here I'm kind of assuming that he's not paying any attention to me, so I'm going to go ahead and work on this Jagdtiger 88. Take some extra time there to get some shots on some weak spots. However, I'm pretty much tunnel visioned at this point. As you can see, we've got that 110 moving around to my flank. His gun about takes a shot, blasts me, taking my ammo rack. I decide to move out of here. I fire one shot before I realize it's time to go. His shot misses. I'm going around the building trying to use this wall as cover. IS-8 friendly, bringing him about as I use him as a meat shield. He takes the shot, destroying the 110. Fantastic maneuverability on this Type 62. Thank goodness I had those allies around, or that could have ended much differently. GW Panther destroyed by the Indian Panzer. As we continue to roll forward, the game looking fantastic for our end. You can see the score definitely in our favor. They've got the Jagdtiger, T-95, and Tiger remaining as we continue to push north. Now, the last known location of the T-95, still northwest. We don't know if he's moved. You can see that we've got a Tiger spotted, Jagdtiger to the south. We're thinking that that T-95 is still up here. Very typical location for tank destroyers. Once again, hard to get them out of that. Indian Panzer rolling forward. I know that that T-95 could blast me for about 700 to 800 damage. If I'm not careful, that would take my life. There's that Indian Panzer rolling into the cap. As we take a look at him, one-shotted as the T-95 pops. It sets him on fire. And that's the end of that. They appear to be capping base. I decide to not run into that T-95 head-on. I'm continuing my flanking maneuver. Definitely surprised to see that he hit the center line and that he didn't stay where I'm about to drive into. I know that I need to stay hull down, keep it behind these hills, maybe use the trees as cover, and just flank wide, because his weakness is that he's very slow. It's very hard for him to turn. There's the T-95 once again, spotting him. The IS-8, E-75 in the back pushing up as well, and then our Lorraine artillery bailing. Although the T-95 takes out the E-75 from range, I'm still pushing around this 95. I don't want to get engaged by him. It was very hard to see from this angle as we push into my perspective where he was looking. I'm hoping that he's going to turn towards the IS-8 and that I can get in there and assist. Passing through these buildings, I can see that he is turned around there, watching for the shot, because I know he might try to get a snapshot on me if he's looking in the wrong direction. I see that his back is towards me. I try to use this opportunity to get a shot off. That's, of course, not going to work with my gun. We're loaded up. I'm thinking, all right, I need to assist with track damage. The IS-8 is in this fight. I'm going to go help out. Can't just sit back. Rolling in. Trying to get some shots off on these tracks. That actually misses. It goes a little too high. And we're going to go ahead and fire one at the track. It spins him just a touch. But it looks like he's still in the reload. I think the IS-8 is immobile. I can't really tell his track back in business. We're still just firing at his tracks. Also giving us some damage. Keeping him immobilized. We know that that is his major weakness. A lot of T-95 drivers will have full-on repairs for their crew as well as a toolbox, because they know that getting tracked is pretty much the end. So IS-8 finishing him off there with us assisting. But then the Jagdtiger appears. IS-8 turns to look at him. I continue to grow for cover. Jagdtiger finishes off that IS-8. I just need to use my speed and somehow get around him. Jagdtiger has 6 kills. It's just me and the Lorraine. I'm trying to move around this guy. Need to avoid his shot. I don't have much armor or hit points. I managed to escape, narrowly missing that one. Coming around this Jagdtiger, throwing some shots in, switching to heat ammunition because, well, this moment is intense. My heart was pounding during this battle. Jagdtiger just trying to maneuver. He's stuck. I'm trying to go for those shots, maybe track him. It's just not happening. He's moving in reverse. We're side by side, trying to come around him, keep him pinned. So far, it looks like it's in my favor. He's got me pinned up against this wall. Going to take another shot, but the artillery right into his frontal plate, destroying him for the assist there. That game was just out of control. That was one that happened during my live stream on twitch.tv, and after that I had to take a break because that was just bonkers. To be the last scout, or one of the last tanks, the last tank, not counting the artillery piece, left alive, it was just insane. You can see that we got a mastery badge here as well as a few other things. You know, taking a look at the damage we did, 2,862 damage. Our experience was 1,390, mostly because we were the low man on the totem pole fighting much larger vehicles. And in my opinion, that's the way to play a scout tank. That's the way to play a light. I'm not a scout master. I don't play lights as much as I used to in beta. Things have changed so much since then. Back then, the Leopard was the light of choice, but now there's so much more to choose from. And I'm just tired of seeing suicide scouts and people that just throw themselves away. They think that they're in the wrong match because they're a light, that they can't do anything, and it's so wrong. And this kind of battle proves that. I mean, not all light tanks have decent guns. The Type 62, I think some of the Chinese lights have some really good guns. But, you know, even for any other light tank, it's about scouting. You're there to spot. You're there to assist. You're there to harass. You're there to kill arty. There are so many other jobs that you can do as a light, even if you're under tiered. And that really goes for any tank. If it's a medium or a heavy and you feel that you can't do anything, there's plenty you can do. Because when you're tracking an opponent, when you're immobilizing somebody, when you're keeping somebody suppressed or tied up, buying your team time, there's so many things that you can do. And this was an example of staying alive, not suicide scouting, lasting the entire game. And I think that's really how things have to be played. So that was that replay. Again, probably one of the best games I've had in a long time with any vehicle. But let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. All right, and our next replay featuring the German Tiger II heavy tank. Pretty decent matchmaking for me as we roll up the hill. And of course the hill maneuver, taking this is always questionable. Some people think that it's 100% crucial to victory. Others think that you should just have a nice even spread along the map. And I think that the hill is important because it gives you a route into the enemy base. And it also provides a nice sniper platform and overwatch position for tanks that have that type of view range and accuracy. But I do tend to favor it depending on what tank I'm in. If I'm in a heavy, I'll go for it. If I'm in a medium or light, I might head in a different direction. But as you can see, we're rolling up here. We've got a couple of Hellcats with us and a 25-2. We can see that there's a Stuart rolling in. Hellcats are prepping for engagement. I'm just looking up as I see this guy zipping through. I'm like, all right, let's take this guy. Come on. One shot in from myself. Everybody else missing their shots. He's got us all spinning around. He continues to move. And honestly, I just give up on him because I feel like I'm the heavy tank. I have to keep moving forward. I ping the mini-map saying, guys, look out. There's a scout heading your way. I don't know if they noticed it. He's heading right for our artillery piece as the MT-25 gets hit and immobilized. We finish him. But as you can see, that Stuart is on our arty piece, and it looks like we're going to lose him. So You know, could I have done more in that situation? Perhaps. But as the heavy tank, I felt that it was my duty to stick with the hill, and I didn't have the speed to catch up with him. If anything, maybe one of the Hellcats could have chased him down. You may have done something different, but I knew that I had to stay here. I don't really feel bad about losing artillery on this map. So, having said that, we're going to take a look at this engagement against the Panther. I know that even though I can take him, I still want to side scrape because his gun can still pen my lower plate. There we go. He hits a track shot on there. Let's zoom out a little bit more so we can see where his next shots land. Just continuing to side scrape here. He's going to go for a shot. You can see that tactic is successful, promoting a bounce with that maneuver as we go in on this M6. So they didn't send the bulk of their forces towards the hill. That already gives us some sort of advantage. And if the Hellcats or the 25-2 can make good use of that, they might be able to snipe targets from above. However, as you'll notice, a lot of their tanks are actually down below here, and they won't be able to get a shot on them. We do also have some enemies moving towards base. Minimap is being pinged, although we do have some defensive players rolling in. My hopes at this point is to come up behind their main assault force and hit their weak spots. Hopefully we can do that. Tiger 2, obviously not the fastest tank, but we still got a good amount of health left and plenty of ammunition to take care of the job. So let's see how that goes. There are some last known locations for the Jagdtiger 88 in the back. Here we are on the VK. Nice shot into the back. He has no idea what hit him. I'm just getting into, or preparing to get into a little bit of cover if I need to. He decides to shoot at the wall for some reason. Perhaps just a misclick or some sort of panic or frustration. Not sure what happened there. Tiger 2 not paying much attention to me. Jagdtiger 88 actually manages to hit me. I decide to not pay attention to him and continue on with the Tiger 2, looking back once just to get myself into cover from the buildings, or with the buildings, I should say. Tiger 2 just wide open as I have the VK wreck as cover. So that Jagdtiger's still back there. I'm thinking that he's going to be my next target. We've got a 25-2 also here to help engage. Base does have defense, but the game is actually pretty close here. Lerva moving up on the M6 and T-44. I'm hoping at this point that they can take him out. And I'm just going to try to work on this Jagdtiger 88, or perhaps try to find that Churchill, who hasn't been seen in a while, although we do have his last known location. He could be moving north. So I decided to take a longer route around here. In the meantime, seeing this Lerva, I decide, well, you know, since I have the shot, traveling towards the Jagdtiger, target of opportunity, might as well stop and help out. So there's the Jagdtiger 88 engaging the 25-2. He's not going to last long against that armor and firepower. Here we have his flank. Great opportunity. Just needs one more shot from any of us to really just drop him. I see that we've lost base defense at this point in time. I am the only tank left. There's the Jagdtiger and the Churchill. Now this tactic may be questionable to some of you. I decide to stop chasing the Jagdtiger. I say there's a Churchill at the base. He might try to cap. Yes, I can kill the Jagdtiger, even from the front. I have plenty of hit points. I have firepower. I have premium rounds. I've got what I need to take him out. I could have chased him. He wasn't that far away. I could have just taken him out and then rerouted to maybe go hit the Churchill. But honestly, I was paranoid. I was worried that something might go wrong. Too much time might have been bought by the Jagdtiger, and that the base may be captured. I didn't want to take any chances, so instead I decided to go back for the base. I may have been able to pull it off, who knows, but I decided to play it safe and just head back. Now, as you can see here, I also take a turn. Instead of going straight in through the obvious route, I decide to flank as well, and I think one of my teammates was saying, hey, go flank around here, and I decided to agree with that advice. And so the idea would be to maybe catch him in a position that he's not ready for, because he knows maybe my last known location and might not expect this. So I'm getting ready here. You can see getting into a side scraping position here. Looking for him. There he is. Not looking my direction. We managed to slam him. I think that was actually the rear of his tank, because I think he was positioned in a way that he'd be ready for a frontal assault, whereas he wasn't expecting this maneuver. So we come around, not really afraid of him at all at this point, but I want to maintain all of my hit points, so I'm just setting myself up again in a side scrape position to better deal with him as a threat. Maybe playing it a little too safe, but hey, why not? So 5 kills there with the Tiger II. We still have plenty of hit points. You can see that we've done 3,439 damage already. Where is this Jagdtiger at? We've got 7 minutes left. I just have to find the guy. And that's the problem, because I'm thinking this guy's got to be hiding. There's no way he's doing anything else but hiding. I just don't know what he could be thinking, and I'm just on the hunt. I'm worried about him maybe backtracking. Who knows? And there he is, deciding to just pop out as I fire on the move, taking him out, continuing to drive by, because we all know that it makes you look like more of a pro when you just keep driving. Like, that didn't bother you. He was just a fly on the wall. So that was another fantastic game for me, showing the strengths of the Tiger II. The side scrape potential is fantastic. At that tier, really hard to best that tank, of course. Other tiers maybe an issue there. You can see we did have some friendly damage on a Hellcat. I think that's when one of them bumped into me on the hill. Find that kind of annoying that it does that, but you know, what can you do really? Getting a few medals here, of course, Top Gun and Defender. Just lots of damage and destruction all around. Once again, 3,582 points of damage. 1,155 XP on that base. And just I think a nice example of how to play the Tiger II. I'm starting to play certain tanks more aggressively. I'm learning how to play a tank that actually features some added armor. Most of the time I drive around in tanks where armor is not the main point of interest. The Tiger II is hit or miss. It's got a very weak lower plate, as do most German tanks. But if you angle it properly, if you use it in hull down mode, if you side scrape with it, which we did several times in this match, you will usually succeed. So maybe not the most challenging opponents, maybe not the hardest game one could face, but I think I wanted to showcase this just for tactics usage and show that I had to change my mind a few times. You may think that letting the Stuart go by was questionable. You may think that taking the Jagdtiger 88 out last might be questionable. Heading back to base, would you have head back to base, or would you have taken out the Jagdtiger first? You never know. Again, I was mostly paranoid about base capture, even though it was only one and it would have taken some time for him to cap. I didn't want to take any chances because, you know, I could have been tracked, I could have been delayed, anything could have happened. So I decided to go that route, take him out, and then worry about the Jagdtiger last. We had 7 minutes left, so there was plenty of time to deal with that threat. I'm sure I would have found him eventually, or he could have just went for a draw. Thankfully, he didn't. He decided to try to come back and help his friend out, but it was too late by then. So 2 excellent games there. I think more so focusing on the tactics. You know, and for me, it's not really just about raw kills or score or damage. It's about what kind of tactics were used in this game. How to play a scout, how to play a light tank. I'm not the best at them, but I think that was a good example of how to be a skirmisher. It really wasn't a passive scouting job, but one that really showcased flanking and maneuverability. Tiger II, again, just showcasing, I think, patience, taking the time to set up side scraping positioning. Taking the time to flank around buildings instead of taking the forward route. You can see that we surprised that Churchill. He wasn't a major threat to us, but again, we saved some hit points, saved some cost on repairs, and I think a good day all around. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this look at 2 of my latest replays. Don't forget to catch me on twitch.tv/SideStrafe. You can find a link in the description below for some live World of Tanks, amongst other things. And also just don't forget to check out some of the links for any of the mods that I may be using. They're also below. You can find the damage meter as well as anything else I might decide to use for the game. But with that said, once again, thank you so much for joining me. I will definitely see you on the next one.